The leading story, again, and it broke yesterday, and we brought it to you here on the show, and we said we'd keep you updated, but there has been a little development overnight in regards to the Josh Addo-Carr situation, and I want to know, has anyone out there or has anyone been involved? You don't have to name yourself, or you can, I don't mind. Has anyone had a roadside drug test? I know I haven't. That's been a false positive, and what the process is or isn't there. But love to hear your thoughts. 13 13 55 0467 736 736. But we heard from Gus Gould, the head of football operations for the Bulldogs yesterday. He spoke in a press conference, which was highly professional from Gus.
Yes.
As you'd expect.
Good upfront performance.
And he had this to say.
Josh vehemently defends himself here and his innocence in this matter. That as far as he's concerned, he's done nothing wrong, that he's taken no drugs, and he can't understand why he tested positive once at the scene of this roadside test on Friday night. However, putting the club first and the team first, Josh has made the decision to stand down from this week's game, not make himself available so the team can get on with its preparation and the media can get on with promoting the game. I think that's a great thing for Josh to do on behalf of the club and the team, but I want to emphasise that Josh believes he's completely innocent. He's been quite concerned about what's happened in the last 24 hours and can't understand how he's tested positive to this initial roadside test that he had.
Why stand down?
Well, this is where I want to go. This is what I can't get my head around. Now, I'll paint this scenario to you, Heels. If I've gone to the movies with the family on a Thursday night and we've watched the 9 o'clock movie and we're driving home at 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I get pulled over and I do a roadside breath test and swab for a drug test, and the first swab comes up positive, but I myself are 100% certain that it is negative. I know I don't take drugs, I haven't taken drugs, and it's a positive. For whatever reason, it's done that. Now, I'm led to believe that apparently at different stages there has been some false positives taken, right?
Yes.
At that point in time, I'm going, okay, well, I'll do a second one, as we're led to believe with Josh Addo-Carr. Then there's been a situation with the police and they had to move on to a home invasion call.
Yes.
I then go down the path of, well, I've had this positive false. I've never taken drugs. So what am I doing? So I then try and get in front of it. At no stage in my mind am I ever thinking of not playing on the weekend in what is going to be a semi-final. But he's been stood down. So I can't get my head around that. Is it just sure you're out of luck that the fact that you've been pulled over and it's a false negative, that now you just don't play?
Yeah, no. And there shouldn't be much of a distraction. That distraction should be able to be stopped.
This is where I'm going.
And Saturday, not Monday. I'd be getting Gus out of bed. But he rang 2 other people in the club, didn't he?
Correct. And there's obviously an order of process there, but if I'm in that situation, and everyone handles things very differently, I understand that. But if I know I am 100% clean and never taken drugs and for whatever reason this has come up a false positive, I am still playing the game on the weekend. It's not just my bad luck that it's come up false positive, which now takes me out of the biggest game of the season.
He mightn't have known about the false positives at this stage. You know, like I heard Michelle Bishop on our Sports Day show with Sats last night say she had 3 friends.
Yes.
And a minority of those 3 might have touched drugs.
Yes.
But the other 2 definitely not. They've all had false positives.
So this is my point.
So if he knew that, he would have been better equipped. But you might not have known that this can happen. But he thought he was off. Remember Gus's first tweet was nothing to see here. He's been exonerated type thing.
So this is obviously where there's a little bit of murkiness in the water. And yeah, Gus also spoke about potentially being misled from Josh.
I'm convinced that when Josh left the scene of the roadside test on Friday night, that he was convinced that would be the end of it. And that's probably the way he represented it to us. It's probably been said that Josh in some way has lied to us or misled us. I guess there are degrees of truth. And Josh, in his own way, felt that this matter wouldn't be raised again, and that when he left the scene on Friday night, that would be the end of the matter, and that was the way he left the police at that occasion. So I don't think he's deliberately misled me or lied to me. Probably didn't give me the whole version of what had happened there on the night, which I now have at my disposal. And the club will support Josh through this difficult time.
I can see you and me in the car behind you going down to the police station, ringing Gus out of bed. Gus, I need a second test. Can you help? Where's the station I go to? How do I get a second test now?
Correct.
Can you do that? The policeman mentioned I could get a second test or something, blah, blah, blah. Go and get that done. And you're never even thinking about the distraction of the week.
Stage.
You can shut the distraction down by Sunday. Get the second test cleared up on Saturday, and then Sunday it's distraction shut down.
I couldn't agree more, which is where I suppose it's hard to get a grasp on what is actually unfolding on the situation, because I just painted the scenario, driving home with the family, just watched a late night movie at the cinemas. This happens. It's a false positive. At no stage, as you just touched on, am I thinking I'm not playing on the weekend? It's not just my bad luck that it's come up a false positive, which then rules me out of playing on the weekend. It's not even a concern. It's not even a thought in my mind. 13-13-55. I'd love to hear anyone who's got some sort of knows anyone or has been part of it themselves that have been in a roadside drug test, that have had a false positive, or 0467 736 736. What would you like to weigh in on regards to this story? I can't get my head around the fact that he is just not playing based on a false positive.
Either can Oscar, for there's far too many inconsistencies in the Josh Addo-Carr story. In saying that, I highly doubt that he stood himself down and think this is a club-driven decision. Gus Gould seems a man who doesn't like to be made a fool of. It's right on the line here for Josh Addo-Carr with Gus. Gus will wipe him out of the club if it turns out that the parts of the story that he's been given are wrong as well.
Well, you make a great point, Heels. It happened on Friday night. Gus fronted the media, 5 o'clock Monday afternoon. If you're in that situation and it happens to you, you just said, also, I backed it up. At no point am I thinking I'm not playing on the weekend in the biggest game of our club's history over the last 8 years. At no stage. At no stage I'm going to think it's a distraction. However, it is. And love you to weigh in on it. 13-13-55, 0467 736 736 to get anyone's view on what.
And are we happy with 8 to 10 weeks for the second result to be tested and
I
come
don't
back?
understand. I don't know. So what, does he just have to stand out of everything for 8 to 10 weeks because he hasn't got a second result? Surely.
And if you're innocent, you would. You'd just wait comfortably with that. But if you're guilty, my goodness, that's a hard 8 to 10 weeks, isn't it? But why is one so instant and one's not?
Yeah, I don't know.